Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk animated shows and movies here, especially Miraculous Ladybug and The Owl House. Find everything about us at overlyanimated.com. I'm your host, Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And April Collins.
Hi there.
We are back talking Miraculous Ladybug. Finally, Miraculous Ladybug Season 4, the latest 3 episodes that have aired in the United States. Psycomedian, Qilin, and Kuro Neko. We are covering the U.S. Disney Channel television releases. More on that in a second. You can find all of our Ladybug podcasts at overlyanimated.com. See our previous Season 4 discussions as we are very close to the Season 4 finale, probably our last podcast before the Ladybug Season 4 finale. So,
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. And check out, we had some podcasts on some other shows. Check all that at overlyanimated.com. Owl House coming back soon, so we're going to be in the thick of things. Owl House coming back after Ladybug ends, Season 4 ends, so.
That's good, honestly. I don't think I could emotionally handle both at the same time.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like I would explode.
Well, you might explode, because Season 5 probably not going to air in too long after that. Who knows when? Because, you know, they produced them together, 4 and 5, so shouldn't be a long time before 5 starts airing. But we don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yet.
If they immediately start airing 5, I'm going to die.
Okay, but here they're just,
Some
instead of
country
like
might.
airing it, they're just going to drop it. They're like, here's all of Season 5, here you go.
They're going to drop it on like Disney Plus just to make us mad.
Literally, that would be like so much more coordinated than anything they've ever done. So we'd be so lucky. We'd be so lucky. Anyway, they are putting the rest of these episodes on Disney Plus soon after they are airing, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so we are following the U.S. Disney Channel releases, despite there have been major leaks. I understand that some of you listening might have seen the last 2 of the last 3 episodes already. Part 1 of the finale leaked in the U.S. on-demand platforms, including on-demand for me for some reason. They accidentally put it up, then they took it down a few days later. Dumbest leak.
Wow.
I think that's Disney Channel's fault. I think they hit publish too early. But regardless, no one's seen the actual last episode yet, so that's nice. But anyway, we have only seen these 3 episodes up. We've seen all the episodes up to the last 3 of the season. Right, so we finally filled in all the gaps. I don't have to do the stupid listing the episodes anymore. So we have seen spoilers for everything up until the last 3 episodes of the season. We have not seen beyond that. We have not seen the leaks. Please do not spoil us. Please don't comment about the finale yet. It'll be on in not too long. And then we'll be back to talk about the last 3 episodes. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're talking about Psycomedian, Qilin, Kuro Neko. We haven't seen anything beyond Kuro Neko, basically.
So are there 3 episodes left or 2?
3 episodes. So 1 more episode and then the 2-part finale.
Okay. Got it.
Yes. So that's what we have coming up here. Okay. So we have you guys have just finished getting caught up. We all just saw Kuro Neko today. It just came out. Another 2 episodes the previous 2 weeks. Let's get some high-level reactions, just the things that are coming most to mind about any of the 3 episodes. Delaney.
Oh, geez. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings and like crying from Qilin and Kuro Neko. You know, we know me, Cat Stan. Also, I will say Psycomedian. I'm not sure how to say it.
Yeah, Psycomedian. Yeah.
Okay. I will say, I was like, that episode like flipped really fast and I enjoyed it. Like I was like high-key, like secondhand embarrassment for a really long time. And then it was like hilarious. Like it was so funny. So I really enjoyed that episode. So it was good to have that before I was just like sad boy hours for 2 episodes.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, this is really the range of Ladybug with these 3 episodes. Yes. I think so.
Yes.
It's a
also,
fun
Marinette's mom is like the coolest person on earth, and we should have a spin-off show of just Marinette's mom.
I would watch it.
Yeah, Sabine's routine, just like the most orderly show, something like.
Also,
that.
her mom, Marinette gets her intelligence from her mom.
Yeah, even though they're in the opposite way, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So.
April, your biggest thoughts here?
Yes. Sabine is the best, and I want her to be my mom, and if she can't be my mom, then can I at least grow up to be her when I get older? Right.
I think that's under your control, yes.
You say that. And then Psycomedian, that episode was something. But I feel like the character I most relate to now is Angry Ladybug.
Yes. Yes.
And also his little like wheezing laugh drove me crazy. Like, I wish I could have just muted him every time he did that. But and then Kuro Neko, I was like, oh, we're doing this. And at first I thought it was a joke, because you know how they love to psych us out about stuff. And I was like, this isn't real. And I guess it was.
Were you guys frustrated? Does it count as real if we get a new cat, but then he goes back by the end of the episode?
Oh, no. I was all in on what they did, because I was in the middle of it, like, oh, I hope he needs to be Cat Noir again. So I was Ladybug. I was like, no.
Yeah. I think Delaney can translate for the cat stands for us in this episode.
Also, that kid at the end of the episode was so cute.
Yes.
The last scene.
Yes, I was like, I need to, like, protect you, tiny human. I think that's the most motherly I've ever felt.
Towards Adrien?
No, the little kid.
The kid. I missed that. Yeah. Yeah, the kid. Yeah. Just one of the latest of Hawkmoth's children akumatized.
Okay, I was like, did he akumatize a cat? Like, I was
That's what I thought too.
He should have. That would have been better.
Like, I was like, did he just straight up akumatize a cat?
I wish.
Yeah. We'll talk about Kuro Neko, the Scent Monster. I think these are 3 great episodes. Very happy to have gotten them. So I didn't mention it, but Psycomedian episode 5 of the season, Qilin episode 20. So we finally got those 2. I think these 3 episodes demonstrate like a wide range of what Ladybug is capable of. Psychomedian's a great romance episode that's also really hilarious, with like one of the best gags of the show.
It's so funny.
Qilin is, I have a lot of like really good things to say about it, but generally like Ladybug's never done an episode like that in terms of explicit like moral themes. I don't think that Ladybug's ever had that strong of commentary. You could argue that that is one of the few weak points in Ladybug's like repertoire of what it's capable of. I think there's a lot of like subtle moral themes, like implicit ones that the show has. We've talked about the value of like life, with including scent monsters and stuff. Yeah. But it hasn't had like a message episode. Not that you need to have a message episode, but just coming in season 4 and, in my opinion, being really good in terms of like, and in the messages it's able to communicate. I was pretty surprised Ladybug was capable of that. Like, we hadn't really seen that before. And I think it fills in like a huge hole in terms of what it is capable of theme wise. So,
well, I mean, considering, what is it? I think it was season 2 where we had the episode we're not going to talk about, or maybe it was season 1.
It was season 1.
That's season 1.
Okay, to come from that to this episode is like, oh, I can't believe we got here. And like, so I like, that was like, I was watching the episode and I was like, oh God, something horrible is about to happen. And then I was not ready for what that horrible thing was. And then like everything you said, like the fact that they did this, and when you were talking about like, implicit lesson, like a lot of times, like especially in season 1, there were lessons, but they were like for the characters. But like this was for us, and that, I think that for me, that's like really this big shift for Ladybug. And honestly, I'm glad, like if they're gonna, let's say this is the only one they ever do, I'm glad it was this one.
Yeah, I think you could argue, thinking about it, that the closest we've had to this is the environmental themes from the space dumpsters and the oxygen tower. So I think it's had like message episodes in terms of the environment.
But they're not, it's not like those episodes didn't do what this episode did.
Well, it's like, that's not the point of the episode. This was the point of the episode.
It's more in your face. It's more like this is about humans and stuff. Yeah, it's good on, it's like really great at what it's communicating on multiple levels too. Like there's multiple themes that I'm really impressed that it was able to successfully communicate. So we'll talk about Qilin probably after Kuro Neko, but worthy of a in-depth discussion to whatever extent that we feel like we want to get into that. Kuro Neko. So this just aired today. We've had the least time with it. I want to get all of our thoughts on it, but I think this is a classic episode of Ladybug. I think it's incredible. It was arguably best episode ever for Adrien's character. It's like a great like kind of mythology episode because we get a new version of Cat. It's the great Lady Noir episode for that side of the romance. Gorgeous episode too in terms of animation, especially coming off of the hospital.
The thesis for the show.
In what way?
Because honestly, like it kind of in the way we discussed the show, like when Plog was telling Adrien at the end, like you're not Cat Noir or Adrien, you're both, and that's kind of like. That's the whole point the show's been trying to make since episode 1, but it just hadn't quite got there.
About Adrien's character?
Well, about Adrien's character, but also about the show in general, because that's how both, like, the whole love, like, the love rectangle and everything, because they love each other, but they're not just Marinette and Adrien, and they're not just Ladybug and Cat Noir, they're both.
Yeah, that's interesting in terms of applying. I agree it's like easily a thesis for Adrien's character that Plog says at the end. It's really interesting applying that more globally.
Well, for me, it's like he actually said it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked many times in this podcast about how a lot of fans respond to Cat by being like, oh, he's actually Cat Noir, it's his true self. And it's like, is the show saying that? Is it saying is it not saying that? And this episode, it clearly says, okay, you're both.
And I'm really glad that they were going, it's not an either or, like, this is, this duality. And really that's what the show's about. And so I really enjoy that as opposed to them being like,
I think to state it more clearly, the duality of like these two teenage kids thrust into being superheroes and like what that entails for them personally.
Yeah,
I do think it probably applies a lot to Marinette.
And it's not just so easy. It's not just, oh, I'm one or the other. No, you're both.
Yeah.
April, what do you think of Kuro Neko? Do you really like it?
I did. I really liked it. I really did. I thought they were pranking us all the way up until the end.
you guys are just
so
you've been scarred way too much, and you're not gonna like be able to accept when something big actually does happen.
Exactly. They did this to me.
You're gonna be in denial after the episode's done.
Trauma.
This is literally trauma. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with like feeling like you're getting pranked when he like legit took his ring off. It was like, what?
Yeah. Well, and like that's the other thing. I mean, like it's kind of something that we'd been sort of leading up to with the other episodes, and I can't remember where this one. I know you literally probably just said it, but I can't remember where this falls in line with the season. But like literally, this has been like the like where we've been going with Adrien in terms of this season a little bit, because he's seeing Ladybug function more and more without him. And then just like him coming to terms with the fact that, like, yes, Ladybug needs you, but she doesn't always need you. It's kind of like when you say, like, I love you, but I don't always have to like you. So I feel like it's like that kind of thing.
Yeah. By the way, Kuro Neko is the last episode we've seen now. The other two are earlier in the season, but this is the latest episode right after Ephemeral.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Yeah, so then that makes sense. Like this episode makes more sense. But
also, there's no way you can watch Ephemeral and then start this episode and not think you're getting pranked.
Right.
Yeah, the person who's watching in order. Yeah, it's true.
They're like, this is fake.
They're like, this is not real.
You can't fool me again.
I'm on to you. That's me and Delaney the entire episode.
If something real happens in the like part 2 of the finale, you guys are just I want to see your reaction. You're going to come on the podcast, you're going to be like, so this is going to go away next episode, right? Like this is
I feel like if there was ever a time to like record ourselves watching an episode, like it would be like this season. Because...
Yeah, well, I mean, also, like, in terms of Ladybug, buckle up, because, like we said, Season 5 not going to start probably too long after this ends, and, the end of Season 5 is, like, the end of, like, the main part of the show, right? So it's, like, could end it this calendar year. We could get the big Season 5 finale. Probably, maybe more like early next year. But
I don't know if I can emotionally handle that.
I feel like they really need to give us the movie.
Yeah, where's the movie?
We don't know what's. Let's not talk about. Jeremy's in his own world with the movie. I don't. Yeah, He's
That
three.
sounds like fun.
They're at least threatening to release it before the finale. Anyway,
But anyway, but yes. So like, so I think that like I agree that this is a great episode to show Adrien's growth and to kind of put the accumulation of this season for him into like an episode. So, because like we've just been watching him just get more and more frustrated at the fact that like Ladybug doesn't necessarily need him. But then I like my heart broke for him. I was like, me too, buddy. Let's hide under the cover.
I was so sad, but it was also undercut by the fact that Natalie has an exoskeleton.
She does. I was like, oh, Natalie. Also, I like that they really have to like drive home the fact that she's like recovering by making her cough.
Okay, yeah, like I'm like, oh, you need robot legs, but no, we have to make sure you cough. Like, for real.
So, like, did she?
Okay, is this the Nathalie? What's the Nathalie conclusion? She's walking again. She has some sort of prosthetics. Yeah.
I have to ask because did she at some point become like paralyzed?
Well, she was in bed for all of the season. This is the first time we've seen her out of bed.
Yeah, we just assumed she was just kind of like, running a fever or something.
Right, we didn't know if she couldn't use her legs. Yeah, that's what this implies.
Yeah, so it's either she was paralyzed or she is paralyzed, or this is implying like she was in bed for so long that her muscles wasted.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
but so we still don't know. It's either or, and to that point, we didn't know, and it's a bit shocking for her to be like, I have an exoskeleton. Like you can't just we can't
We're just not gonna address it at all.
Well, I can't literally, like, I'm like, this is a really deep Adrien, like, we're a lot, I'm processing a lot, and then she comes around the corner, and I'm like, what?
Well, this was our Nathalie check-in. I guess a good question is, are we doing something with Nathalie at the end of the season?
I mean, they gave her robot legs, so I'm gonna go with probably.
I think I have to look at an image. I think she just, like, probably gets into it, like, when she gets out of bed. She, like, I don't think those are always on her. I don't know.
It, like, went up her back and everything.
Yeah.
So, like,
we don't know.
which kind of, like, led me to believe that maybe she was, like, paralyzed or something. Like,
also,
did the broken Akuma, like, go in and, like, snap her spine or something?
Okay,
Like,
that's how it works.
We have, like, iPad dad. Like, we have, hologram dad. I don't, like, what... I don't know, like, what technological timeline are we in right now? Like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we've seen that Gabriel has advanced technology beyond our worlds before.
It's like, what?
But, like, just barely, kind of.
It's like,
yeah.
like, this is a thing, but, like, it doesn't actually work, and it's in a research lab somewhere at, like, Caltech? Like, what?
Yeah, you could argue this is already an alternate version of our world since Miraculouses have always been around, so maybe technology develops slightly differently. Something like that.
Because we have magic. I don't know.
Anyway. Any other Nathalie commentary? We can close out Nathalie after this. I agree. That was they really slipped that in there.
Oh, it's not even slip. They were like, you're watching the episode and they swing a sledgehammer at you. Like, I'm like, why did you do that?
And they're not subtle about it either.
It has, like, blue lights on it. I'm like, y'all were like, we're going to make her Tron. Like, I don't understand. But one thing on Nathalie is I feel like there was a scene missing, and maybe we'll get it later, like, a follow-up, like, when she was asking, she was, like, when she was talking to Gabriel, and Gabriel was like, when's this next photo shoot? And she's like, 3 days. And he's like, oh, he's going to be fine. And it's like, wow, Gabriel, okay.
Yeah, they didn't follow up on it.
Not even concerned.
It's like not the point of the episode, I guess. But
like definitely Nathalie was very concerned.
Yeah, yes. Which is nice. Nice that Adrien has her walking around again.
Adrien has someone to care about.
I mean, his pseudo mom, right? Like the past since the shows began. Yeah, the Kuro Neko very busy. Okay, so it's one of the best episodes of the season, or no? Question mark.
I think it's one of the best episodes of the show.
Yeah, well, a little bit synonymous with it, but yeah,
that's true.
It also just looked so pretty.
Yes.
Like, I was in
awe. Going from Qilin, which was Probably one of the worst looking episodes we've seen in a while. They've had some animation studio issues. I don't know if that applied to that
Really?
episode.
I didn't think it looked bad.
At least the first scene with Sabine. Anyway, it's fine. I don't really care that much about that stuff, but particularly Kuro Neko looked amazing. I definitely agree. I think top 10 episode of the season, maybe even top 5. Yeah, there've been some really good ones.
They used all of their budget on the lighting for New Cat Noir.
Yeah,
it was worth it because it was glorious.
Oh, it was.
They used all of the budget for his little ponytail.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It was worth it.
For all of the scenes where you just look up at him, and then also all of the budget on like this adorable Lucky Cat piggy bank Scent-monster.
Yes.
That's where all the money went.
Yes.
It's all here.
Yes.
And I'm fine with money misspent.
This ponytail, I'm looking at the picture. It's
Ponytail, it's like I will say the closing scene where, like it's not a stinger, it's the splash screen at the end.
Yeah.
This one was giving me very the Man in the Iron Mask. Like it was very
yes.
Like that's what we were going for because that's what I got.
What? Yeah. I don't even know like what this outfit is.
Okay, let's talk about Catwalker. Like, that's the I mean we have some themes to get into, but
Catwalker is the worst name.
Yes.
So what are they going for with Catwalker?
I don't know. I thought they had like way cooler names whenever they were first going through the list.
They had way better names, and then they were like Catwalker, and I'm like, that's what you picked?
Yeah, I'm not sure what this is in French or anything, but yeah, we get Catwalker.
I hope it's better in French.
Catwalker makes no sense.
I think this episode probably is not aired in French yet, which is dumb. But yeah.
Also, like, I don't understand. We're like Cat Noir, and like we're in English, Cat Noir, and then we're like Catwalker. Like, you could have just made it whatever it is in French. Like, why did you do this?
Yeah, I mean, you have Papillon and Hawk Moth. Sometimes they change it, sometimes they don't. But anyway, Catwalker. He has a. So when I saw it, to me he gives off very OG Sama, OG Sama vibes, like a prince, like very proper, like pretty boy in an anime.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you seen The Man in the Iron Mask?
No.
Okay, so we are in agreement.
Okay. Yes.
Look it up. It's a Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Yeah,
he does give off Leo vibes, young Leo.
No,
vibes.
It's literally like once you look at the Wikipedia for Man in the Iron Mask, like it's the same.
You're gonna. Also, I love that his like buttons are little cat paws.
Yes.
Oh my god, I didn't see that.
I will say I missed like.
It looks like he has a royal outfit on. It does.
It does. It looks like he just like he stepped out of a ball and was just like, oh, like he's like fancy ball at 8. Saving Paris at 9.
Like he really was like, I swear Thomas was like, you know what, the only thing the world knows, French Revolution. We're giving him, there's a French Revolution Cat Noir.
I think the ponytail is probably my favorite part. And the ears, the ears at the top, which I guess Cat Noir normally has, but do they look like this? Are they just sticking out of his hair? Or is it just that the hair is different? And
they look like they took like Plog's ears exactly and then just like pasted it on his
I've never understood the physics of Adrien's costume anyway, so it's fine.
I'm glad he still has a belt tail.
Yes, that's extremely important.
No bell, right? He doesn't have the bell on him?
No bell.
That's the real tragic. That's like the worst part.
I feel like the bell was insulted last episode.
Does he have a unibrow?
A unibrow? I don't... It looks like that from the mask.
Yes.
So Catwalker is Ladybug's ideal Cat Noir.
It's like Prince Charming Cat Noir.
Yeah. So he's also described as like very serious versus his like zany Cat Noir. So it's very serious Cat Noir.
How much I thought it was hurt Plog to say no cat puns. Do you think it like really hurt him like deep down?
A lot.
I love Adrien repeating that. No cat puns, any situation whatsoever. Like, I thought like, okay, I was already like in on Catwalker. I thought it was fun, but then once Ladybug starts like blushing at him and stuff, it's just so fun. Like that.
It's so good. Well, my favorite is when her, like, she won't stop looking at him. That's my favorite. Like, she starts glitching. Hilarious.
The Lucky Charm vision, the Ladybug vision, and she just is so distracted by him. That's such a funny concept. That was so good. Yeah, the combination of him and his persona and the outfit, and then Ladybug's reaction. It's really wonderful.
Well, and then when he's like, "I want to take care of you," it was like, "Oh my god!" And then I know. I can't believe Ladybug didn't die, like literally on the spot.
But also, how did she just not like die in this episode?
Also, I can't believe Plog listened.
In what capacity?
Plog listened to what Marinette was saying. I was like, yes.
Oh, this is
Guardian.
It seems like Plag just ignores Adrien constantly.
Plag just does whatever Plag wants.
But yeah, he knows everything the Ladybug wants, yeah.
He respects Marinette, like, because she's the Guardian.
But not Adrien, I guess. I mean, he does. He does. This was Catwalker's line. You take care of everybody equally, Ladybug. Now I want to take care of you.
She's just like,
yeah. Wow.
So good.
Sorry, I thought I was checking on a hairball.
Oh, and then
I was just being nauseous from that line.
And then when he didn't laugh at her cat pun, she was like,
I know.
She was like offended.
So good.
I want to see Catwalker again. No disrespect to Cat Noir, but
he just makes Ladybug like it's just so funny.
Yeah.
For me, it was the way he was like taunting, like one of my favorite scenes in Qilin is when he's like, "Oh, I thought you were trying to say something with that car," and he's like, "Oh God," he's like running away. Like so funny. And then with the cat, he's like, "Meow meow," and I'm like, like it's funny. Like I like what Catwalker does, but it's just not as good as Cat Noir like berating the villains while they're throwing like vehicles at him.
Yes.
I thought of the fanfic. So anyone has permission to write this. So after Marinette and Adrien start dating and they know each other's identities post season 5, Marinette's like, Adrien, I kind of miss you being Catwalker. What if we pretend and go back to and then like he does Catwalker and wants to.
Oh, you just assume that he's gonna tell her that he was also Catwalker.
They're gonna know each other's identities, but not Catwalker.
Marinette thinks that's the thing. Marinette thinks there's two guys. Like
so
that's
because they look the same, obviously.
Okay, but
once all the identities are on the table, they're gonna like role play by he's gonna be like
differences.
It's a good fanfic. Okay.
I agree with the fanfic, and I'm gonna add a bonus scene. Like this is the part April needs is like they're talking about Catwalker or something, and Adrien says something that makes Marinette realize that they're the same person.
Oh, like, Adrien's like, I forgot to tell you I was Catwalker. I didn't even think of it.
And then she's like, I can't believe that you tricked me twice. And then we can get into.
And then she's like sheepishly like, do you mind? What if we did that again? What if you went back to Catwalker?
Yeah, see, we could do both. Like it's 2 chapters to this fic. It can be a multi-chapter fic.
Yes. Okay. You're gonna write it after this.
All right. So we're stepping into the multiverse. Got it.
There's multiple cats. That's what this was truly the Spider-Man whatever of the.
No, was it No Way Home? Is that one, or is it Far From? I don't remember. All the names have home in them. It's confusing.
I mean, that would be if all the Ladybugs came in, all the past.
Like all the Kubutai's villains at once.
I guess Ephemeral was that. Yeah. Okay, so we love Catwalker. Other big themes of Kuro Neko. So we've been talking about this the whole season. One of the major arcs, and by the way, this was I for this podcast I came up with the 6 major arcs that the finale might address in Ladybug, and one of them was Adrien being dissatisfied by his role on Ladybug's new kind of Ladybug as the Guardian, Ladybug's new hero team. This has been a constant theme throughout the show, and I love that we didn't wait for the finale to kind of culminate this arc. Yeah. We did it in this episode, Kuro Neko.
God, I think this just means the finale is going to be like worse, like worse in the way that it's going to physically hurt.
Yeah.
I would hope. I think it's going to be more dramatic, yeah. Than
It was,
this.
it's like they're like,
hurt.
they're like, oh, you thought this was the big deal? No, it's like, oh
right.
no.
So okay. So here's
Adrien's
one.
a Sentimonster. Bam.
Okay, so yeah, that is one of the 6 is, and that plays into this, if he learns he's a Sentimonster, then that would really exacerbate his feelings here. However, we end the episode, I would describe this as Ladybug and Cat Noir, they both gain a greater appreciation and understanding of Cat Noir's current role on the team, is my description of how this ends. That being said, nothing has changed with his role. We were kind of anticipating this would tie into his role changing, some sort of identity reveal. If if they know each other's identities, then his role would change. But nothing changes here. So the question is this the end of this arc of Adrien being dissatisfied with him not always being involved? Or will this come up again this season?
So
I feel like it's over.
You think I agree. I do think it's over, but I do think they're leaning very hard into Marinette can't know Adrien's identity.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think I do think he's gonna we're gonna get a reveal, but it's gonna be to Nino or Alia.
So, so we've repeatedly, sometimes in like a show and you repeatedly say something, we're going to like address that. Ladybug can't know Cat's identity. So one thing we've speculated was, what if Alia knows both of their identities? What if Alia learns Cat's identity?
But Luca already knows.
Luca does know both, but they don't know that. Yeah.
Right. So my guess is that if we're going to do any type of identity reveal thing, it's going to revolve around Luca. Because he already knows.
And then did we
You would think, yeah.
Because I thought part of the fear too, because part of the fear was Alia knows Marinette's identity.
Yes.
And so she is... Did we dispel that? Because I know...
So Alia successfully threw Shadow Moth off the scent, yes.
Okay,
earlier this season.
So she could, but she's also a risk. So I guess he has to... I guess it'll have to be Nino.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
If someone
theoretically,
else finds out,
because based on the rules they're giving us right now, is one person
can't know both.
Yeah.
So if Nino knew Cat, Alia knew Ladybug, they just promise not to tell each other. Yeah,
and then it'd be
but
hilarious watching them
but they don't. Yeah, but that's and we've talked about why didn't Luca tell Marinette? Well, that's why Luca didn't tell Marinette, because he's not supposed to. Yeah. So that would screw things up.
So I don't know. I think the closest we got to an identity reveal of Adrien and Cat Noir, at least to Nino, was whenever Nino told Adrien.
Yeah, so the Nino Noir. You mean Nino Noir?
Yeah, and because
in Rocketeer, Nino reveals that him and Alia know both their identities. Yeah,
because I really thought at one moment during that episode that Adrien was gonna tell Nino.
Yeah.
Because that would have been the parallel for Marinette.
I think it's coming, but we had to do this first we had to have Kuro Neko first.
I kind of don't I kind of just want to see how it plays out with just Luca knowing.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if we addressed Luca knowing in some capacity. We've kind of went to one of the other of the 6, so we'll go over these.
Because the other thing with Luca knowing is that they've also made. I mean, yeah, we're really driving home that Marinette can't know Cat's identity or whatever, but we've also not given up on the fact that Luca knows both.
Well, no one knows
identities
except Luca.
Yeah,
yeah,
but will it come back into play? Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of at the beginning of the season, Marinette revealed it to Alia, and we sort of let that play out. But then essentially that kind of arc has ended, and so now this is the new thing that needs to be taken care of in a sense.
Yeah, in terms of Luca.
Yeah, because he knows both.
Yeah,
so there has to be a consequence to that.
At least narratively, it should be followed up on at some point. It was addressed in Ephemeral, at the very least. It was acknowledged. But back to Adrien's dissatisfied. I agree. This is probably the conclusion for this season. And I think it's a fine conclusion. I expected there to be a change, but this is this is a nice temporary thing. That being said, I do think this is only temporary because the big Ladybug panic after Adrien leaves his Miraculous is that nothing she can do will fix the situation because Cat Noir is always going to be in love with her. That's still true. So
Yeah.
it's not fixed. This is going to come up again. The only thing that can fix this is the ultimate identity reveal, I think.
Well, so what I'm thinking, like when you started talking, what I was thinking was, so like this was kind of like an identity crisis for Adrien, also, not just in that Cat Noir, but also, he loves Ladybug. But so the thing is, the reason this is satisfying is because Adrien's a scent monster, and that's going to be the ultimate test of his character.
Yes.
So like that is like, we can't resolve like Adrien's like character issues, and I don't want to say issues, like it's not like there's anything wrong with Adrien, but Adrien doesn't know who he is, and that's because he's a scent monster, and so we need to like get there.
We also can't just like pass it off as like, oh, Adrien's decided to be mature about the situation. Like,
right.
No.
And so I think we're going like, so we're like, okay, we're gonna deal with like this little part. Like this was kind of like the baby identity crisis, but then once Adrien's like, so then we had to find out Adrien's a scent monster, and that's gonna be like a whole other thing.
Yeah, I agree. So further big Adrien stuff is coming.
Yes.
So I'd be surprised if Adrien learned he was a scent monster this season, but it's coming eventually.
I don't know. I almost feel like the fact that we pulled a scent monster, like the fact that there's a scent monster in this episode.
Yeah, that's kind of a reminder. Yeah. So I speculated before. One of my predictions was that we would learn to the audience that Adrien's a scent monster, but not Adrien himself. But we
already know.
Well, it's because
we do already know. We've been new, April.
Yeah, I remember how Thomas made fun of us for it.
Okay, and then Thomas puts things in like the Gabriel rubbing his ring. Like, we know Thomas.
Anyway. Yeah. We'll get back.
He did that for us, and we know it.
Last thing. So the problem is that Cat is still in love with Ladybug, but my number one prediction for the finale is that right at the end of the part 2 of the finale, Marinette will successfully ask Adrien out, and they will, as Marinette and Adrien start dating into next season. So this could be resolved if Adrien falls in love with Marinette. Then Cat isn't going to be in love with Ladybug anymore, So this actually might kind of go away on its own.
I don't know, because like I think there's the show just likes drama, and I think there's kind of a lot of like pieces, because also Marinette, which we were reminded in Psycomedian, which to be fair is an earlier episode, that the girl that Adrien, there's a girl that Adrien's in love with. And Marinette just doesn't know that it's literally her. So there's just like, will she like? I don't know. We definitely.
Let's come back to it in Psycomedian. The romance discussion. We have more to talk about with that. I think that mostly covers, I think, all the main topics for Kuro Neko. We talked about Adrien's identity. And the exact quote from Plag: "You're not Cat Noir, but you're not Adrien either. You're both. One can't exist without the other." I think we talked about how great that was. Other things from Kuro Neko quickly, before we get to the other episodes, and we can dive into anything else we still want to talk about from there. We can talk about the Shadow Moth makes his wish splash screen still that comes up multiple times, him like maniacally laughing, and then Plag like pushes it off the screen. That's so good. It
is, and then also like Marinette like losing her mind.
Yes.
Like in her conspiracy theory board.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which
and she's just like blacking out Cat Noir's picture.
And then like Tiki and Plag are like whispering to each other in her bed, and they're like, okay, but they're in love with each other. And then Plag's like, I'm gonna fix this. And Plag's plan's actually terrible, but it works in the reverse. It's amazing. And then he's just like, you just gotta smile and nod. And then Tiki is the worst ever at smiling and nodding. And I can't believe Marinette bought it only because she was sleep deprived.
That's
great
probably
Tiki
the only
moment.
reason.
Also, she's dumb, but
Aw, sweet sugar bear.
Tiki force smile and nod is so
I
good.
do respect Tiki being like, I can't lie to her, and Plog's like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plog reveals that the costume that you transform into depends on your personality.
Yep.
That's kind of how he explains it. So, interesting kind of mechanic here. That if you maybe over time, if you change, then your costume would change.
Also, it's like, I understand why it's not Adrien's fault that Cat Noir is so stupid. Because it's Plog.
It's part Plog.
Like, yeah, because Plog is so dumb. Like,
Plog is part of that personality. This is probably the number one Plog episode ever.
oh, okay, so everyone needs to know, we've previously stated that my wife loves Plog, and my wife she doesn't actively watch with me. I use the Disney Now app, so I watch on my phone, and so I'm watching this episode, and I've already watched, 2 episodes. I told her the plots, and she wasn't really that, interested, and then she hears Plog talking, and she's like, what's going on? And she, sprints over and is watching over my shoulder, everything happening, and she's like, what's happening now? Because she loves Plog. So this is the Plog episode, and when it's on Disney Plus, I'm going to show it to her so she can enjoy Plog, because...
Yes, show it to her. Plog says, so long, serious cat. We're finally getting to be super cool cat again.
Oh,
that was a good
gosh.
line. Super
I will
cool
say,
cat.
that was, I'm really glad that he was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Loving Plog specifically as the only part of Ladybug is probably the most random thing.
She's just he's just so cute. And then, I mean, to be fair, his dialogue is hilarious.
Plog, this is a great Plog. Plog,
Okay.
This is definitely Plog
Yeah.
has never talked more than this episode.
I know, and I will say, all of his lines are great, and his cheese metaphors were immaculate.
Yeah, he keeps saying confusing Adrien with Camembert.
Hilarious, and no one knows what he's talking about. It's so good.
Great Plog episode. Okay, yeah, so definitely watch with
A
watch
plus
the full
Plog
one.
episode.
I'll come back to be how she reacted to watching Plog.
Yeah, that'll be the next feature. Tanya's
Yes.
review of Plog in
Of
this
Plog.
in this episode. Last thing. Okay, so Kuro Neko is the Sentimonster name. So this is Japanese for black cat. So it ends up kind of, I guess, making sense because it's a lucky cat that gets turned into the sentiment, a lucky cat piggy bank.
It's a money cat.
Which is a thing that's
Yeah.
very popular in Japan. That being said, you're still a giant weeb, Shadow Moth. You named this because he names them, right? He named this Sentimonster in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
This follows up on Haksan, which was an earlier one, adding the san Japanese suffix to his little hacker thing. That one had no reason to be in Japanese.
You
just added the san to the end. 2 Sentimonster names in Japanese now. Shadow Moth, I hate to break it to you, you're a huge weeb. What I guess you're going to Tokyo you're going to send the holodad to Tokyo.
Yes.
So we know you've been there, at least your hologram has. Which is really himself. It's an extension of himself. What's just randomly naming things in Japanese, but really the true weeb is not Shadow Moth. It is Thomas.
It's Thomas.
It's Thomas.
Stop naming episodes Japanese names. You're French. What are you doing?
Also, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't have to be French, but the other prominent culture is Chinese, and yet you're nah.
Yeah, it could have Chinese Qilin. Okay, makes sense. Japanese, unless it involves Kagami and her family, this should not be Japanese names.
Hold on, conspiracy theory hat has been put on. Unless this is Thomas trying to let us know that Kagame's family has some involvement in Adrien being a Sentimonster, which is why.
Oh man. Why is that? Why is it this episode?
I mean, why?
Because it's the Adrien episode. Because of the big
it's the Adrien episode,
Oh,
and it's Kuro Neko, which, like you said, means black cat in Japanese.
Yeah, it's parallels to our black cat. I think. Which I guess the purpose in the episode was because Ladybug is oh, that's Cat Noir, Akumatized. Yeah.
I lost my cat too. Oh.
That was so. Yeah.
I was oh, ow. Also, the amount of cat facts that were in this episode.
Yeah. Text cat unsubscribe cat facts.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh yeah, cats eat grass sometimes to help them throw up," and I'm like, "Why does Adrien know this?"
I can't believe you unknowingly brought back cat facts to the Ladybug podcast.
I know, I'm kind of upset about it.
In one of our iconic clips when we're doing the Fly My Akuma, one of our examples is unsubscribed cat facts from like many years ago. So I don't know. You definitely didn't remember that, but
I definitely did not. You've pulled it deep from the West.
I only know because it's an iconic, overly animated clip. Okay, we'll get back to we'll check it. Yeah, the cat facts with the hairball. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And then they brought it back like 3 times. I'm like,
that was how Ladybug solved it. Yeah,
I know. I'm like, guys, calm down.
Okay, and the only focusing on Catwalker. Yeah, that was okay. I think we covered everything I noted from any other Kuro Neko comments.
Oh, him playing fake Mario and
yeah. What did you think of him just walking into the wall over and over?
Mood.
Yeah,
right?
I thought you think so.
I was like, this is so like Adrien. So I just need everyone to know Adrien in like soccer shorts on his couch, like dead to the world, walking into a wall is me like all the time, like just 24/7. If you're not listening to a podcast, this is like actually while you're listening to a podcast, this is what I'm doing. Like I'm just this scene is me.
How dare playing video games.
Also, him throwing away, I will say the saddest thing wasn't just like throwing away the Ladybug pictures, but like him throwing away his little toy. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, he deleted all of his Ladybug pictures.
I think he saved one photo though.
Oh, no, I think he deleted them all.
I don't know.
What I would have wanted to see is him on the official Cat Noir Instagram, which he should be running. He deletes all of his pictures with Ladybug, like they broke up, so he deletes them off of Instagram.
They do it for like this weekend only.
I will say that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, like him in the show, but also it'd be reflected in the I don't think they run those anymore. I don't know though.
No.
Yeah, sad. Okay. We love Kuro Neko. We can, if you think of anything else, we can come back to it. But let's talk more about Qilin. We can have the serious discussion. I mean, you guys talked about how much you love Sabine already. That's half of this.
I really think this might be like my favorite episode of the show. Period.
Why you want to dig into why more?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially just because Sabine is like literally the coolest person ever. But like, I don't know. Part of it's the way this episode is constructed. Like what you were talking about. Like we've never had an episode like this.
That's true.
It's just so nice and put together.
It definitely stands out. Like like one of the most notable, just because it's kind of singular in what it's doing.
Yeah, and then even like the payoff of like, so obviously like the very important messaging and the themes, which are very resonant and very important. But then also, like, she's a super cool villain. So it's like, not only does this episode, like, do a good job of, like, its messaging, it's also, like, just a really good episode of Ladybug.
Yeah, I do think it's good start to finish.
Like, they managed to do both, and a lot of shows fail at both.
Yeah.
Qilin as a villain.
So
my favorite part is her in the handcuffs. I think that's
like the best part.
That's so cool. Like that she keeps the hand and it translates into her hero form, and then she's still like trying to get the handcuffs off, even though it's like part of her like a villain outfit. And then
she fights Hawkmoth at first, but then she does eventually break free, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah, so she renounces the Akuma at the end. Yeah, once Ladybug. So the third Akuma renouncement. But yeah, it's and she has like elemental powers, even though it's basically mostly just wind. In the episode, she's like debating with Roger Wall. She's Akumatized. That's really cool. Qilin, by the way, it's like a Chinese mythological creature. It's like has one horn, so kind of like a unicorn. And I put in that line a pic of a Qilin in Shang-Chi for the Marvel movie recently. So that's pretty cool. I think she looks really cool. Sabine as a character, I mean, just the intro with her, like you see how organized she is. You see her like anticipating everything Marinette would do.
I'm sorry. It's just so funny because you're like, what is she doing? And then
she just puts the sponge on the floor.
It's so good. No, it's just when Marinette just falls right into the laundry basket, and not only did she know she was going to fall into the laundry basket, she was like, oh, can you also do the laundry? Hilarious. Like,
yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah, like let's like that first scene so cleverly written. Like Ladybug, really well written show. Let's not overlook this. Like,
yeah, not only is she doing Tai Chi, like doing all of this, and then later her villain, she just is doing Tai Chi and wrecking everyone.
Interesting, yeah.
So good. So good.
I loved the Sabine vision.
Yes. Oh my. Yes. This is what Marinette's smart because her mom is smart. I love it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, she like gets the guys to switch places on the bus.
It's so good. Okay, the bus scene is like it's sort of like she's so mad and she's like, and just like.
But I also love that like she knew that Marinette was going to be running late and like it's like she purposely had extra croquettes.
I know, like when she's like, you have exactly 4
to stall him. Yeah.
So at first, I thought she was just just like you need like I don't know. I didn't realize like it was just so good. Like then he starts eating them, and I was like, oh my god, she's so smart. Like.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's very like charming. I like it's over the top, but it works in like this context, this like one episode context. I think
my favorite part is whenever she was like making the reservations for dim sum, and I was like, all right, like that sounds like a good lunch plan or whatever. And then Marinette's just like, yeah,
so good. And she's like, of course, dear. Like I'm like, you are like literally the most baller person ever. Like.
Yeah, when it clicked for me is with like she opens the magazine to the shoes advertisement, so Marinette would think that she needs new shoes. Oh, and
I love that like after like Marinette gets measured every day.
Yeah, that's cute too. Yeah,
and like that because that was something I did as a kid at my grandparents. Like all the kids would get measured on like this one part of the wall.
Aww,
it's just so funny.
It's a classic.
Also, the fact that I'm like, Marinette, you're still growing. That's like I like since 8.
Oh yeah, they're children. Remember? Yeah. they're 14. Yeah, makes
maybe
sense.
being a superhero, like you get to. I don't know.
Maybe these children shouldn't be superheroes.
Yeah, number 1.
Master Fu. Maybe you shouldn't give them to children.
Maybe. He doesn't know anything, Dylan. He doesn't remember.
Now okay. Well, yeah, I'm not talking to him currently, but it's true. That's true. We've waited a long time for the Sabine episode. Her and Marinette were like the 2 most notable people that had never been akumatized. And we've never seen her character get this much focus. It like such a big payoff.
Also, it's the other thing too was like, we've talked about this a lot. And just like we finally get this injection of Chinese culture that we've needed.
Yeah.
Like we've done it in like bits and pieces previously. And, like, we even had a whole special in China, and I still feel like this was, like, much better.
Yeah. I mean, I think this in conjunction with the Shanghai special is such a big improvement in terms of presentation of Chinese culture. I agree.
But I'm just really glad they did it with her mom. Like, I think this was just so good.
Yeah. I agree. And, we learned that she teaches a Chinese art class.
Yes. Also, I was like, I'm just so glad. I'm like, what do you do? This is great.
Yes, that's cool. Nadia was in the class, and also either Lila or someone who looked like her was in the class.
Definitely looked like Lila.
I didn't know it's Lila. That's highly irritating. I'm glad
she didn't speak to confirm it, but yeah. Will Lila in the finale? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
This is me just wishing that she's not there.
Chloe, a major part of the finale. Yes or no? We'll come back to this. I'll come back to this in a second. Anyway, Sabine, we love Sabine. I have more stuff to say about her in terms of like the commentary. So bringing this discussion to what the episode is saying, I have like some 2 specific points that I want to get into that I think were really well handled. But in general, we can introduce what the episode is talking about because Shadow Moth says injustice, abuse of power, and blind ignorance, 3 powerful plagues that can cause even the most stable of souls to waver. So thank you, Shadow Moth, for introducing our topics.
Also, like, I will say it's interesting that we've like, I don't know, the layering here. Like, if a supervillain is saying you're messed up, that's pretty messed up. He akumatizes babies, guys. Like,
this is the man who akumatizes babies and sleeping children.
Also, he akumatized a baby in this episode.
That's right.
I do think like he's like playing off of the societal injustices. He's preying on whoever is negative emotions, whoever is like disenfranchised by society.
And then he's also done it. Like he's literally fired his employee and then akumatized them.
So yeah, not that he's in the right or anything. I think it totally checks out though that he would.
Oh, absolutely.
This should happen more in the show. For
yes, yeah, I agree. Like it's kind of like, well, I mean, obviously it's like similarly he like, you know, preyed upon the poor girl who lost her cat.
Yeah, you know, it's I mean, it's people having bad things happening. But yeah, so we get a lot of injustice talk in the episode. We get abuse of power from Shadow Moth. I think that's and blind ignorance. Yeah, I think this covers it. I mean, injustice is a very general word.
Well, and a lot of it for me, what the line that really like I was really impressed with was Sabine's line about integrity without intelligence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. Like I was like, oh man.
Ladybug at the end, tying up some of the themes. She says the law is a good thing, but you need humanity to apply it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had longer to sit on the episode than you guys probably, but so let me give you some of the specific analysis here that I've got. I don't know, the episode's talking about a lot generally, so I don't think we need to comment on everything. But one thing is like I do think it's an episode about racism and prejudice against Asian people, even if the episode does not specifically say that. Should note we are white people here talking about this.
Yes.
So it's like implied commentary, but I was shocked and impressed with how strongly and clearly it was like implied.
Yes. That was for me, I think the main reason why I'm like, wow, at this episode is because just how viscerally obvious it was.
Yeah, you don't expect the show to go from that season 1 episode to this, right? Like this is
well, exactly. And especially when he said, you know, he was talking about like Parisians who pay for their tickets.
That was great too. Yeah, that was great. And should know we're talking about the dub of it, right?
We're watching it.
Yeah. But yeah, the specifically othering her from Parisians. Yeah, I thought that was a great line. The thing I was most impressed with how this was handled was the ticket guy. Ticket guy. What's his? I don't know. Ticket collector.
Ticket guy. He doesn't deserve a name.
Fine.
I think that's like a guy that doesn't really translate. Like I don't know who ticket guy is in America. Like is because he's not a police officer, right? Like
right.
But he's not. He doesn't work for the bus anyway. So the ticket guy, his like, and the police, like the random police officers.
Maybe ticket guy represents kind of like government bureaucracy.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think so.
Also, I will say the only problem I have with the episode is that they didn't punch ticket guy in the face.
Yeah.
We can talk about the ending. But quickly,
they should have done that.
I mean, I think he gets his, he's pretty embarrassed at the end.
But he should have not punched in the face.
Well, so ticket guy and the police. There's a lot of random police officers that come in. They're like fear. They react with such fear to Sabine. Yeah. I thought that was so viscerally presented in contrast to the whole beginning of the episode that we talked about, where we see so explicitly that Sabine is the most composed, organized, calm. That's her whole persona. And then we never see her really break away from this. And to see then people react to her with fear. Yeah. It's such a visceral contrast that is clearly states that it's because she looks different from them. That's why they react that way.
You know, what really was like extremely upsetting and like part of what, you know, like, I'm so impressed with what this episode has done is, I'm not 100% sure that if this is the specific scene you were referring to, or do you mean when Marinette was talking to the officers later? But when they're just talking, like she hasn't even gotten mad yet, and it's her and Roger, and he just keeps like twisting her words, and it's like she's like, "I know you, Roger. Like our kids are in class together," and then when she gets upset and he's like, oh, she's getting mad, it's like, are you for real?
Yeah, that part. Yeah, exactly. And it's like this rings so true to so many cases we've seen of people just being afraid for no reason of Black, Asian, and people of color,
and then blaming them.
Yeah.
Like it's like because they responded to you because you were the aggressor, and then you're like, oh, I'm the victim now. Like, no, you caused this.
It rings that scene specifically. It rings so true that like the reaction, the fear, the it clearly being for no reason, and in contrast to who we know she is, and the actual situation.
And she's not allowed to get mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the second she even slightly loses her composure, right? Which is she's not even really mad.
Yeah.
I'm in general so impressed by how true this episode rings to recent events, being an animated episode that they must have written this a while ago, being an episode of a children's show,
and also just inherent tragedy of how relevant it is. And
yes, it just feels so relevant now. It's a children's show. It's a lighthearted children's show, so it's not gonna specifically get into like such like violent specifics, right? But considering it didn't do that, I felt like this was the most it could have rang true for the type of show that it is. Like I was so impressed by that it communicated what it did.
Also, in addition, like so, this is a show, and even like the writers and Thomas, like we're talking from like a French perspective and Europe in general, they're like, this was a police brutality episode as well. And I think they did it in such a great way. Like they did kind of like the 5-star Grand Theft Auto, like escalation. Like they're like, where are our tanks? Where's like,
the helicopter?
Yeah. Without like, if this was an American show, this would have looked a little bit different, but this is expressing that exact same brutality. And I think part of it is how resonant it is. It obviously doesn't matter. Like people are racist regardless if you're French or American, but how we experience and what we see in the media is different. Yeah. And so I think they've done a really good job of, translating that same thing. Like you're going to watch this and you're like, oh my God, like they're
like, exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does resonate for us. It should, and we're watching the English dub, should be noted that when we talk about other cultures and how these types of things apply in other cultures, we're not knowledgeable. It might be different in other parts of the world. But it's certainly translated in the version we watched, us as Americans. In terms of the abuse of power side of things, I think very good commentary all around. Like the thing that I loved the most, that I was like, wow, this is so like such a subtle, like intelligent point that Ladybug was able to communicate like really effectively. So, since, the events of 2020, like I've been reading a lot and like listening to people and like one thing is like you talk about how, police, a role in a community is like as members of the community themselves, like policing themselves. Like it's like, police should be like members of that community. It's not good if there's like white cops who are in an all black community, right? Like in there, like they don't understand the experiences that they're going through. And here we have Roger, who actually is a member of the local community, interacts with Sabine, knows her situation. This is actually good. This is actually like what police should be, according to this viewpoint. But he, despite understanding Sabine, despite knowing she's saying the truth, he ignores that.
Yeah.
He does not factor in, that he understands the situation of the community. And he doesn't use that in his application of the law. He wants to instead follow a blind, unempathetic, reading of the law, which doesn't consider his understanding of local situations. And that's like the entire issue is we have Roger right here who could easily resolve this by just applying what he knows. And he has clearly been taught to like not do that in what he's doing. This is, I think, what we're getting at with Ladybug's line at the end, when she says that the law is a good thing, but you need humanity to apply it. And you need your like in humanity, your like inherent like empathy of the people around you. And so I thought Ladybug was able to communicate this very nuanced point of like, the people of a community policing themselves and that it's the issue when that is not happening, like when Roger ignored his knowledge of Sabine.
And on top of, Roger sucks at his job. We know that.
In terms of Roger, this is a reckoning of the Roger character, I think, this episode.
Yeah, like, because that was the thing, because, like, part of this is, like, we've seen Roger, like, take a minute and then do the right thing, but he didn't in this episode.
Yeah, he's definitely done the right thing a lot of the time, yeah. And he's very much presented as this bumbling, inoffensive kind of cop character for most of the show.
Yeah.
And this episode does reconcile with that viewpoint. Like,
which I appreciate. Like, I think that was real, like, I think it was sorely needed. Yes. And then also the inspector, because, you know, if the inspector had literally waited 2 minutes, Marinette would have appeared. And then on top of that, like, it's the inspector, like, it's kind of also goes with, like, when, like, the inspector was watching This Is How Roger Behaved, which is, like, another, like, layer of, like, what you were talking about, like, the community. Like, it has to go up.
On his own, maybe Roger handles it differently, but there's, like, a perceived pressure of someone else from some sort of power position.
Like, another
like,
well, and that guy was, like, literally, like, you have to do this, like, and it's like, I just wanted to be like, can you just shut up and let Roger, like, make his own decisions?
Right. It's if Roger is alone, he probably, like, ends up handling that okay, but I think that the presence of that guy who's presented pretty comically evilly, but, like, it's you know, he represents, like, how we have these power structures in place that directly lead to these kind of racist policing actions. Like, it's, you know, it's the pressures upon Roger. Like, we know Roger's a good person. We know he's we've seen him do the right thing, but clearly he's been taught, like, the wrong thing, or he feels the pressure of handling this in the wrong way. And I think the episode, like, clearly, like, shows that with Roger. And it's not like clearly the ticket guy's evil. Roger also comes across very badly, I think, for most of this episode. But he's still, like, it helps. We know him. We know he's the dad of someone in Marinette's school. Like, he still comes across, he's like a human, you know, it's gray, like what's happening with Roger. And, all of this is it's so nuanced. Like, how did Miraculous Ladybug do this incredibly nuanced? And
gave us that episode we can't talk about, and also this.
I think this is the best, it might be forgetting something, of any show we've talked about on the podcast, the best, any sort of police or racism. Like, I mean, there've probably been some good racism episodes.
Well, for me, it's not, like, this isn't just a 1 point, you know, there is, like we were talking about, the nuance. Like, there are so many levels and so many things that this episode gets right all at the same time. Like, it's not just...
Exactly, like, yeah. It's hitting on multiple related issues at once in a nuanced way successfully in the span of a 22-minute kid show episode. Yeah. It's fantastic. We even had the "we were just doing our job" line. Like, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yep. That's another good one.
Like, oh my god, like, so good. And then even Marinette being like, "You mean her?
Yeah.
You mean my mom? You're scared of my mom?"
Right. And again, the perfect setup with us seeing literally the most organized, calm, composed person in the first 5 minutes of the episode. And she is treated this way, like, as threatening, as someone who would break the rules. Like, it's so absurd from our perspective.
And also, now this is reaching a little bit, but depending, because I don't know how, like, Paris is huge, but, like, she gave the bus driver croquettes, and, you know, the guy in the wheelchair knew that she...
And, like, an upstanding citizen, yeah.
Yeah, she advocated for him, and then no one on the bus did anything when the ticket...
Yeah, there's some, like, bystander effect, too. Yeah, totally. Everyone was just standing there. I was going to say,
even, like, the bus driver could have been like, oh, yeah, 1,000% scan those tickets. You know what I mean? Like,
literally, like, he also, like, nothing, like...
Yeah. I think she's supposed to keep the tickets even after he scanned it. It's like, I think this episode makes a little bit more sense if we know the Paris bus system, but yeah.
Well, this is also, well, I mean, if you think about it too, in like for me, this makes me think of I've taken a train to get to an airport, or like when I'm in DC and then also in New York, like, no one has that. Like, you're not, like, Like, how often do they check that? Like, never.
Oh yeah, this is it. It was like no one ever checks. I agree.
I was gonna say they check it in Dallas all the time.
Well, it's like,
no.
well, it's just one of those things, and it's of course the person who gets checked is a person of color. Like, it's like nice. Okay.
Yeah, and you start off, it's like, oh, she just happened to be coming off. She was kind of right there, and then it kind of, you kind of see the other side of that. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's by chance, and then you're like, oh, was it? You know?
Yeah.
But also, like, she was getting off. What does it matter?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So.
And then also one thing, because we're gonna shift, but another important point was when Marinette as Ladybug was like, okay, well, if she brings the tickets, it's fine, right? And they were like, no, it's the principal.
Yeah.
Which is like, they're so like, wow, like y'all are opening up so many conversations.
Yeah, yeah. We can talk about the end of the episode. Marinette comes back with the tickets. Ticket collector. He says the situation was complex. Sheepishly, he says that, and then Marinette offers to pay for the fine, but asks for a loan from mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, like, you know, I don't think personally, I did not interpret this as any forgiveness for Ticket Guy or Roger.
Yeah.
That being said, it's not like they get their comeuppance.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I will say I think, like, just for the satisfaction
of the viewer. Yeah, my argument would be, I think this is a very realistic ending.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I would say. I love that. I like him say the only way it was addressed was he says the situation was complex. Like, he kind of admitted he was wrong there. This kind of Jack, whatever, you know, like they never say, you know, like he's admitting he's wrong. Nothing's going to happen because nothing ever happens. Right. But we know, and everyone in there knows, like everyone in the situation knew at the end.
Also, they were still going to do all the identity stuff just without the handcuffs.
Yeah.
Like, they were still going to do
They're still going to an identity check, bring her in for an identity check. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, are you for real? Like, oh my God. So that's the other thing. Like, I think that's the other thing. Like, this was very realistic. And obviously, I would have very much appreciated if they could have punched Ticket Guy at least once.
Yeah, I feel like we have this discussion amongst people a lot. It's like, do you want the people to get justice, or like should it be more realistically handled? It's always a relevant kind of conversation. I think any perspective here is pretty valid on how,
and kind of what you're talking about, like what is justice? Like, is it like, you know? And they were talking about it in the episode. Like, is the actual justice versus like how it's defined under the law and stuff like that. So that, I mean, these are a lot of things like this episode touched on, and it's just like, wow, like it was, obviously there are other shows out there, but I would find it very difficult to find another episode in current animation that, and this is the thing, yes, this show has magic, but this show is set in a realistic portrayal of our world.
Yes.
Yeah. Big kudos to Thomas and all the writers. You know, like, we know from Thomas's Twitter, he's like very progressive perspective on a lot of things. Seeing that applied in the show, I think is very satisfying.
Well, especially like we know there's the stuff that's like kind of snuck in there, and then we get this episode. It's just so nice. So
yeah, it's usually snuck in there, or it's like absurdity with like space dumpsters. Here, it's like grounded. I think grounded is a good grounded and explicit.
It's also like evident. Grounded in reality, just a little bit.
You know what I mean? You know, someone getting akumatized and like having magic powers, it's probably one of the, maybe the most grounded Ladybug episode. Yeah,
I mean, so. It's not like space dumpsters. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, big difference. Yeah. Ladybug's range, it's capable of this episode, it's capable of the Angry Marinette meme in the next episode we're going to talk about.
Oh my God, the Angry Marinette meme is so good.
The range of this show seriously, I think this show is the biggest range of any show I've probably ever seen.
Yeah, and also, they execute it excellently on all levels. Like, it's not just...
We are at the point now where they are genuinely executing everything they're trying at this point.
Yeah, and I really, like, you know, we've had some rough patches, but to be here, and it's like, I'm just like, you know... it's incredible. You can find great examples of like all sorts of different kinds of storytelling just in the show.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Only other thing I want to say from, we mentioned this line from Roger. Roger's still funny even when he's being terrible, and listing off all of the things he's mad at Ladybug and Cat about. Absurd little cat ears and Belle. He adds to the end of it.
Good. That was another, like, that was so, and then he's like...
Got to agree with you on that one.
So good.
You're not wrong, buddy.
And he's just, like, very poorly chasing after Cat in the sewers.
Also, I love that, like, once he got to, like, I guess, like, the water's edge, he was like, oh, well, I lost.
Right? Like, and also every time Roger just lists what law they broke, so funny.
Yeah. Okay. There you go on Qilin. We good? Any other comments?
She's just amazing, and I love her.
Yeah,
Sabine,
best
yes.
mom.
More Sabine, I agree.
Yes,
Okay.
all, like, please. Also, her relationship with her husband, they're just so cute.
Yeah, we got to get a little bit of Tom.
I will say there's another version of this episode where Tom shows up and, like, gets so mad.
Oh, he would beat him up, yeah.
Yeah, Tom's like, nope.
They would run away because he's too
I
giant.
want
yeah.
that episode.
Like, Tom just picks up the inspector and just, like, yeets him.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Let's talk about Psycomedian more.
So funny.
Yeah, it's a psychic comedian. However, I don't remember how it's pronounced, but yeah, I think they removed a letter to make sure it's not like psycho. Like they made clear, like psychic comedian. Okay.
Yeah.
So to me, the main takeaway here was this was a key missing episode from the Adrinette setup for this episode, the romance arc setup.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, meme, episode 5, we're missing. Ha, it's going to air at the end of the season. Well, I mean, I agree it was funny, but like, it was actually kind of frustrating in the end because this was kind of a crucial episode in terms of this romance arc.
Like, not only, like, this is one of those episodes where, like, you know, we have bumbling Marinette, but there's payoff at the end. Like, she actually gets to find out that Adrien thinks she's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's probably always thought that, but that's one of the takeaways.
Well, it's just mainly, like, a lot of times we have episodes like this, but, like, we know, but Marinette doesn't.
That's true. Adrien tells Marinette, no one makes me laugh more than you.
And it's like, oh my god, something happened.
That was big moment. So here's my analysis of me plugging this in. So this takes place after Mr. Pigeon 72, the episode right after it.
Mr. Pigeon 72.
Mr. Pigeon 72 had the...
episode.
It is one of the best. That episode has Umbrella Scene 2.0, right? Where Marinette realizes once again, she acknowledges her feelings for Adrien.
Wait,
after
which
being
episode
like,
is it this episode? Oh, or is it is it Qilin? When Cat Noir has an umbrella.
That is Qilin, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so that was, I'm just like that. I just had a little light bulb.
That was cool, yeah. I think he's maybe had that once before, but yeah, it's cool. Considering the umbrella scene. So Marinette realizes she loves Adrien. She starts stuttering again. One thing I was initially thrown off that she wasn't like stuttering in this episode around Adrien. I will say that was a little confusing to me the first time I watched, but I think the stuttering is not the point. It's, like she might occasionally do that, but she's mostly past it regardless. The fact is, Marinette understands she has feelings for Adrien again. That's like the coming out of Mr. Pigeon 72. This is the very next episode. And so in this episode, now that she acknowledges her feelings, she's trying to figure out how can we go from now we're just good friends. No, actually, I want to be more than friends. Yeah. So how can we move past this? That's kind of the setup here. We see flashbacks to, the season 1, season 2, season 3, the Bubbler, Gig and Titan, the Puppeteer 2, kind of setting up where they are in their relationship, which I thought was really cool. Definitely like very confusing because it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a very long time ago. I definitely enjoyed it, like as a plot device.
Yeah, just setting up like this is where we are with Marinette Adrien.
Also, just like it's just the girl meeting is just so funny always.
Love when they're
like we have to have like 12 girls to help Marinette get a boyfriend.
Like
so good.
Realistic.
We have to sit down and like plot this out. Like
so good.
These dumb children, yeah.
And we even get like super mega gay Julika Rose. Like I was like, wow.
Yeah, right in the beginning, as one of the things I wanted to note. So good. You can't have love without friendship, and then they lean their heads on each other.
And they're like looking at. I'm like gay. Like I was watching this episode, and my wife was upstairs, and all she heard was me go gay. Like I was just like, wow, overwhelmed.
That was a really good scene. Again, another quick Julika Rose scene, but it was really good.
Honestly, I like thrive on the like 2-second Julika scenes just because
It
they're
fuels
good.
you
Yeah.
through the rest. It fuels you through the rest of this frustratingly straight show, right? Like
Yes.
it like powers you through.
Yes.
They threw it in there I mean, honestly, like anyway, we could talk more, but I do hope we get a full episode of them at some point. But we'll
Please.
see. So that the Marinette's now trying to, and then at the end, Adrien says Marinette makes no one laugh, so it kind of like propels her. Later in the season, most notably in very crucial episode Simple Man, Marinette gets really close to asking Adrien out.
So close.
And then, very soon after, Glaciator 2, Marinette gives her very genuine confession to Adrien, but except it's to Kat when they're practicing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the arc this season. So this episode inserts us in. This is the kickoff for her trying to ask out Adrien again. And then she does do that later. She tries to, and she gets very close. She is able to give it, but not to Adrien. That's kind of the status of Marinette and Adrien heading into the last 3 episodes of the season.
Okay.
Is she wants to ask him out. She got really close. That's why I think she's going to successfully do it at the end.
Okay, so that was my thing. I was like, so what? So I'm gonna pretend to be Dylan for a second. So what would I think instead of theory, more like what is more important to y'all? Is it the identity reveal or them getting together?
That's your host impression. Is what do you mean? Do you mean this season? Do you mean in general?
So I was also trying to figure that out. Let's go with this season.
See, to me, like, my number one prediction and the number one thing I need to happen this season is them getting together. Like, I need the asking out to actually happen.
So then that will lead into the identity reveal.
I think, and then you start there together, and then that sets up an interesting premise next season for that.
Okay.
And we've talked about this, like, that possibility before, because it creates that sort of drama that the show loves to give us.
Like, oh god, I have to leave.
Yeah.
Like Marinette being like, I have to go to class. And her mom's like,
Marinette, go hide in this closet.
Oh my god, okay, I have to, oh my god, can we talk about these 3 episodes? These children transform out in the open, like, every time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're not hidden. Like,
I must be desensitized at this point. I don't notice it.
Like, they're like Adrien's in this.
If it's not in a train bathroom, I ain't gonna notice.
Okay, for the record, at least there's a door on the train bathroom. Marinette changes in an open bus stop.
That's true. She does.
Open bus.
Like, it's not even like one of those that you can actually go inside and there's like kind of a wall. Like, no, it's just literally a bench with a shelter over it. Like, are you serious?
Stop.
and then Adrien is literally hiding behind like a support beam was it Harry the clown?
Yeah.
He's hiding behind a pillar. I'm like, everyone can see you.
Yeah,
like,
he is behind a pillar. I remember. Yeah. This is a YouTube video that'll never happen. Is we rank all the places they've transformed from best to worst.
We can't do the video because everyone knows number 1 would be the train bathroom.
Will we? But when in our research, will we find a worse one?
I don't know. The problem with the train bathroom is that like 3 people go into the train bathroom. And
it's specifically Adrien across from his dad.
Yeah,
the train
like,
bathroom.
The fact that happens, you can't. Like, that's the worst.
You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it.
What is it? Like Marinette transforming in an elevator and then Cat Noir transforming in that same elevator like 2 minutes later.
Yes. Okay, classics. Oh man, we should revisit all of them. Okay. Marinette Adrien's it's Marinette's getting back in the trying to desperately ask Adrien out game. This is the transition, because before this like 2 episodes before this, we have the breakup of the red herring couples, right? So, this is the transition episode from they thought they were just friends to Marinette, at least, is trying to move past that into something more. So,
and then Adrien's just like, I'm here.
I will say, because we got these episodes so close together, this is the Adrinette episode. Kuro Neko is a big Lady Noir episode.
Yeah.
And then Glaciator 2, one of the reasons it's so good, I think, is it's both. It tackles both head on. But I find that other than Glaciator 2, I'm a little exasperated that these are such separate romance arcs. Like the season treats them 100% separate. It's the same people. Like, it's the same people.
They're not the same.
Well, that was something I did like in Kuro Neko is literally plotting Tiki are like,
yeah, they had one moment of them being like, yeah, and they're like, okay, we know they're dumb, whatever, moving on.
They're like, okay,
so,
we have to trick them.
Comments on the Marinette Adrien in this episode. We also get Marinette trying to act out the clown act for
oh my God,
his clumsy sheriff sketch.
Adrien not understanding slapstick is so funny.
And he just doesn't laugh. It's like, this checks out.
That's because he is a sentimonster and he doesn't understand.
No, I think he's just, I mean, he's sheltered, but he also is like, doesn't understand people. And yeah, he's a sentiment. This is,
it all makes sense.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
Also, I will say there's also the implication that it's like so lowbrow and he's never been exposed to it because like where he lives in society.
Interesting. Yeah.
But for me, it's
although
he's
seen his dad has worked with Harry Clown.
But does he know that though? Because Gabriel's like, why are you here? I said
right. He's just trying to distance himself from him. Yeah.
And then he's like, and also you have to delete all the pictures. There can be no evidence that I did this.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. I thought they had some great. That was great. And then them at the end, Adrien laughing at Marinette, and Adrien's like, no, I was laughing at you when not at.
I'm
Harry.
just not over like when Marinette drops the hat and he's like, it's right there. And then the saddest thing that has ever happened in this show is when she squirts the water in his face and he goes, why did you do that? That is like the most tragic. Like it was like no wonder Marinette ran off crying. I wanted to cry. Like that was the worst.
Why did you do that?
So bad.
Oh, Adrien.
Like, God.
April, any Marinette Adrien comments from this episode?
It's fine. They're adorable. I mean, I guess maybe now he understands like all of the jokes that Marinette was trying to do.
Yeah, I think
at the end of the episode.
Well, he understands that she was trying to be funny, but he's like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice that he finds her ridiculous clumsiness and ineptitude funny. That's nice for them.
I mean, that's endearing, I guess.
He better find it endearing.
You are.
I don't know. Isn't that kind of like? I think they're both like that. And granted, this could just be my experience, but like, my wife and I are always just like it's so funny. Like we're just making fun of each other all the time, and it's like that's why like the ridiculous stuff my wife does, I like love it. It's the best.
The fact that he finds her quirks endearing, this is what the episode's going for.
Yeah.
It's like it's a huge thing for them.
And it's true in the reverse with Ladybug and Cat. Like Ladybug does find the absolute ridiculous nonsense that Cat does endearing, which we find out.
Even if she doesn't acknowledge it that much. Yeah. I agree. I think they clearly that's a cute point that they both do acknowledge that. They both do find that in each other. Any other we've talked about this ad nauseum, the possibility that they might start dating at the end of the season. Any doubt? Are we fully in, buy or sell, April?
I mean, I would buy it.
Are you as certain as I am that it's happening?
No, because I've been hurt before, Dylan.
You guys are gonna at this point. You'll be skeptical of anything.
It'll be the end of the show, and you'll be like, "Man, wasn't it great that they were dating?" And I'll be like, "I don't know. I mean, at any moment they could take
Dylan,
that back."
why? No, the more important question is, Dylan, why aren't you hurt?
Yeah,
I'm too. What's the right word from this show? I'm too numb from.
Oh, so you're just desensitized.
Okay. Exactly. I'm desensitized.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot be phased unless they tease in the finale. This is what would get me if they tease that they're going to do the Sentimonster reveal and then don't do it. Probably that would be or if Adrien Marinette like almost asks him out and then doesn't, like, I think I would be pretty frustrated.
I'm gonna die if that's what they do. I'm just gonna laugh. Like,
no, I'm waiting.
We're gonna come on this podcast and you're gonna be like, "Hi, I'm Dylan, and this is Delaney," and then April, and I'll just be like,
"Oh my gosh." Laughing at me. So the anti-Adrien laughing at my
I don't know, like I think the one thing like that would just absolutely like I honestly the fact that I'm still here after Ephemeral, like I hate this show, but Like that show like hurt me in a way that no other show has ever hurt me. Like I hate this show, but I think what would finally like put
Delaney 15 minutes ago. This is the best show. Delaney now. I hate this show.
that is the literal living experience of watching Ladybug.
I mean, it's true though.
That's me every episode. I'm like, I hate this show. I love this show. I hate this show. Like just every 5 minutes.
Are you plucking the flower petals with that?
Yes.
Yeah. And then what would finally put me over the edge, sorry, I was losing my train of thought. What would put me over the edge would be if Thomas memed us again about like if purposefully it was like they tease Adrien being a Sentimonster and then they like definitively say he's not, I'd be done. I'd be like, I can't do this.
Oh yeah, if they like reverse, if they do the full, it was just a red herring. Yeah,
I would
like.
Which is still possible, by the way. It's like I don't think they're doing it, but this show is like obviously it's so troll that they could do that.
Yeah. Also, like Thomas loves like I do like if that happened, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, we'd like be very mad. We would
take to the streets like
those Twitter streets. We'd take to them. We'd be those 12-year-olds in his mentions flaming him for
like Thomas.
Why do you treat Adrien so badly? Yeah, that's that would be us. About
why do you treat us so badly?
Yeah, why didn't you do Sentimonsters, Thomas? That's gonna be
like
us.
Thomas. Okay. I can't wait. I can't believe you spent $2 million on this episode to troll us. I can't believe you did this.
If he is, by the way, if he is going to do that, he should like also tweet something cryptic, like about Sentimonsters to further troll us. I recommend that. If they're gonna reverse course. Okay,
but,
back to that.
Specifically tag us in it too.
Yeah, and tag. Yes. Yeah. With by the way, the first time we mentioned Sentimonsters on the podcast, he tweeted the link to the website of the podcast without any further comments.
And we were like, "Oh my god, it's real."
From a certain perspective, this could be a long-term troll. That could have been the first step of the long-term troll from Thomas.
Gosh.
Think about that. Okay. Before you get back to the finale stuff in a second, last thing, Angry Ladybug.
So
Psycomedian.
See, that's me. I feel like that's what, like, I think I'm like super vicious, but I just imagine that's what it looks like from an outside perspective whenever I'm angry.
I'm sorry, the like growling is what like got me. Like, and then I always watch with captions, and so it's just like angry mumbling like every time.
Yeah, I'll say this is one of those times I'll say that if you're a native English speaker and you didn't watch Psycomedian in the English dub, I would highly recommend. I don't know what it sounds like in other dubs. I'd highly recommend listening to Christina V's performance.
It's so good.
There's so many incredible lines with this. This is one of the best gags that the show has done, which there's so many good ones. This is one of the hardest times I've laughed at Ladybug.
No, literally, like, for me, it was like I wasn't all in on this episode until the meme, and I agree.
I agree. There's a shift once she starts being Angry Ladybug. Then it's like, I mean, the Harry stuff is fine. That's like not as interesting as the Adrinette. And then once she's like Angry Ladybug, it's like, oh my god, this is so good. They fully commit to it.
Like, the secondhand embarrassment you have to go through to get to the Angry Ladybug is worth it once you get Angry Ladybug.
It really is.
So you finally get that, like, she gets hit with the villain.
Oh, yeah.
Because that doesn't usually happen. Usually it's Cat. So that was nice, but then also this is hilarious.
Yeah, let's go through them quickly. So first, she gets hit with the Angry Beam, basically.
And it's messed up immediately. Like,
Cat has to, like, trap her and pick her up.
Yes.
And she's, like, flailing, growling, yeah.
Well, the best part for me is, like, he's like, ha, I got you. And then she's like, I'm going to kill you right now. And she just throws the car. Like, it's so good.
They have to detransform, and Tiki's also angry.
Oh my god!
After being hit.
Okay, the fact that this tiny red creature is eating a pink polka dot macaron and is like, "Oh, you think I'm having a good time?"
It was so good.
It was like losing it. Like
so at that point, it's already great, and then Marinette starts rattling off her usual catchphrases in angry mode.
Oh my god! Yes.
So she angrily. So I think this is the best part. So she gets the lucky charm of the helmet and she destroys it angrily. And Kat's like, it was so obvious for once. You just put it on his head. She's like, yeah, it was so obvious. It made me mad.
It's so funny.
That's such good commentary on the Lucky Charm mechanic. Like, oh my god.
The fact that, like, not only, like, we get Angry Ladybug, it then turns into memeing on the show.
Memeing on the Lucky Charm, yeah. Which, by the way, we did the Lucky Charm vision multiple times in these episodes. We did this is a great season for memeing on the Lucky Charm. Like, it's such a dumb power, and we've thoroughly deconstructed it at this point. Like,
and then
the
we
show
also
is
have
thoroughly
Kat
deconstructed.
Being, like, the slowest character. Like Cat, like, we'd get Cat vision.
Yes, yeah, we had Cat vision. Yeah,
and it's like, oh my god, Adrien, hurry up. Like,
yeah. Okay, the Marinette says, there, it's over. Everyone can go home now.
Oh my god, I don't know, there's, like, a lot of, like, competition for, like, which one's the best one.
Okay, next. Get lost, little butterfly, instead of,
so good.
And then to end, all right, already, Miraculous Ladybug.
So good. Like, so funny. I don't know what's funnier, Get Lost or All Right Already, Miraculous Ladybug. Like, it's so good. And I'm like, and like every time it happens, it's just like so funny.
We should end every Ladybug episode with it's over, everyone can go home.
So good. Like, and she's just so mad. And then, like, he has to carry her around so she doesn't beat him up. It's so funny.
Yeah. Is a spectacular gag from the show in this episode. You might think, oh, this episode that's been missing, it might be kind of a weak episode. It's I think it's a great episode. Like, Angry Ladybug is so amazing, and the romance stuff. Then there's other good stuff in there with the friends, and like very good episode. I don't know. I love Angry Ladybug.
Well,
this is one of my
classic
favorites.
Ladybug,
like,
a little bit.
Ladybug is like, every episode of Ladybug always usually has like at least one like really funny line.
Yeah.
But like, this episode is just like, I can't, obviously, you know, there's been a lot of time between episodes, but like, it's really hard for me to think of a gag funnier than Angry Ladybug.
This is it. We should do like a top 10 Ladybug gags. There's obviously good ones. Space Dumpsters, Hollow Dad were the ones we meme about all the time. There've been
Anime
really good
Sword.
ones. Anime Sword. It's a great one.
But like Angry Ladybug, like, also, are we never getting it again? Because like, oh my god, it's so funny.
He needs to bring back all the villains again, including Psycomedian, and we get Angry Ladybug again.
So funny. Like, it's also just the immediate, like, that was a mistake. Like, she gets, like, she's just immediately, like, she picks up a car and just, also, these 3 episodes, all we're doing is throwing cars. Like, so many cars get thrown. So many.
These episodes, all we're doing is throwing cars, Delaney 2022. Yeah, that's the title I guess
of the podcast.
That's what this show is, yeah. Is that is that the title? I think that'd be a random title.
We're just throwing cars.
We can add the throwing cars.
Ladybug, yeeting.
Something about the range of Ladybug. I feel like that'd be like a more apt title. Anyway.
I don't know. I like throwing cars.
These 3 episodes, all we're doing is throwing cars.
Can you put emojis?
in podcast titles? I'm not sure. I've never tried it.
Like, it's like the angry, like, starburst, a ladybug, and then a car.
Okay, that's the cryptic podcast title. Just emojis.
Like
last comments on Psycomedian.
No,
it's just so
okay.
funny.
Quickly to wrap up, let's do our finale speculation. Probably it's our last podcast before the finale. So
I'm glad we gave these episodes room to breathe.
Yeah, they deserved it, and it's a long podcast too. We're getting into all of it. Let me go give you my 6. So the 6th one was Adrien's Dissatisfaction. So 5 points now. Okay. 5 big ticket items.
So it doesn't
heading
exist
into the finale.
on this outline.
No, this is on my personal notes.
Whoa.
So I'll reveal it to you.
Wow!
Right now.
Wait.
Did you know, Delaney? I have 2 sets of notes per podcast. I have my notes and then the outline.
I mean, I know that you just have notes. Like, you just know.
Yeah, so I have notes, yeah.
Oh, wait.
Okay, this is...
I just remembered because I scrolled all the way down to the end of the notes. What is his face? Harry or whatever. His laugh made me think of that video where that girl leaves that voicemail. And she's like, I love you and I miss you.
that does sound like it.
Oh my god.
I like he explained the comedic. It's a comedic timing, so they know when to laugh. I appreciated that.
I like
acknowledge.
I liked that, especially after like at that point I was already exhausted from him doing it.
Yeah, it was after. Yeah.
Like,
okay, here's the big ticket items. Okay, I don't think you guys know this. I will reveal the title of the finale.
Oh no.
Just because it's relevant. So the finale, every episode. By the way, we need to remember every episode is named after.
So the finale's 2 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so is it like finale part 1, finale part 2, or do they have 2 separate titles?
So it's the name. So every Ladybug episode is either the name of the Kumatai's villain or the Scent Monster. So we should always remember that when we look at future.
Oh
titles.
God.
But except for finales, when it's title, parentheses, and then the subtitle name of the finale. So I'll give you the subtitle name. So we have this isn't the Kumatai's, this is in parentheses. Parentheses, Shadow Moth's final attack. Part 1 and part 2. Oh my god, those gasps. I don't know how you guys don't know this. You've stayed so unspoiled that you genuinely hadn't heard that before.
I know this information is out there, but I am so blissfully unaware on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say
I've muted Thomas at this point. It's like I can't anyway. Okay, the reason I spoiled that is because final attack. That begs the question: is this the last season where Shadow Moth, nay Hawk Moth, is the villain of the show?
Well, what happens? Like, oh my god, there's.
Does he evolve once again?
So flashback, whatever years ago when we, at the end of season 3, we said, is this the end of Hawkmoth? No, he just turned into Shadow Moth. But when you say Shadow Moth's final attack, that doesn't imply that he's going to change forms and now be a Nega Shadow Moth.
Right.
Like that implies that. So this is why I brought up Chloe and Lila. Are Nathalie, Chloe, or Lila going to take over as the villain into next season?
I mean,
is Nathalie like healthy enough to do that?
She's fine. She's robot legs. She's
no,
fine.
That's not how that works.
She's fine. Robot legs.
But okay, so this is gonna sound. Dang it! Because you remember how I shared that tweet about Thomas being like, "Yes, Chloe's gonna like come back and she's gonna be sunshine and rainbows and blah 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 blah."
Yeah, this is a recurring thing. Thomas is sarcastic on Twitter about people who are mad at Chloe's usage in the show.
Yes, but do you think that like he responded to that one specifically with that exact response because she becomes the new main villain?
Well, you could argue Chloe. So we haven't seen Chloe really for half a season. She was with the stuff with her half sister earlier, right?
Oh yeah, we haven't seen her either.
But we really haven't. I mean, she was in Kuro Neko as one of the random heroes. So Chloe at the end of season 3 kind of reverts back from all of her character development and is villainous again, and then we don't do anything with that in season 4. We're like, what's happening with this arc? Is that all in service of her taking over the Hawkmoth mantle heading into next season? I think this is one of the main possibilities.
Well, when you lay out all the options, like, it has to be Chloe. Because we haven't seen Lila in, like, eons.
You would think Lila literally not being in the season would not randomly show up.
Like, does Lila exist? Like...
She's in the background.
She was in Sabine's class.
Look at her. Like, she's taking Chinese painting. It's very nice.
I mean, there is a way that, if they want to, like, now, if the show does this, I want you to know that I'm, like, me discussing this right now makes me, like, so viscerally angry. So when they do this, I'm going to die. But, like, if they, like, let's say the next episode or in the first part of the finale, they just bring Lila. They're like, they show like Lila throughout the season in the background. And she like figured out Marinette's Ladybug, and that's why she's in Sabine's
we get
class.
we get flashbacks. And Lila was there the whole time.
Yeah, and then Lila, like, I don't know, assassinates Gabriel or whatever, like whatever happens.
Oh man.
And becomes the new villain.
Assassinates him.
It's like the only like but then my thing is like, okay, but literally what are they gonna do? Like, does Hawkmoth win? Like, do they just kill him? Like, how do you make Hawkmoth stop? Like, I don't understand.
Right.
Like, there's so many steps. And then also, this season has focused a lot on being like, oh, this is what would happen if a wish happened.
Yes, definitely. Yes. We're building up to the wish. I assume, to
these episodes, Marinette's like, oh my god, if this happens.
Yeah, you were lagging a little bit. But to me, like, the bigger question is the wish, right? That's like the thing hanging over. And I don't think we're getting that this season.
I disagree. That's the thing. I think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, and I think you were probably getting to it, Delaney, is that the only way that Shadow Moth would end or have a final attack is if he gets his wish, right? Or unless like he's dead or incapacitated.
Yeah, Lila assassinates him.
Yeah, Lila assassinates.
This is my new theory. Lila kills Gabriel.
It's like, what is it? Like Arya Stark does in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Lila's list.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like less interested, even though this is on my big ticket item list. It's more about Gabriel in general. I'm less interested if he's the villain next season, because like, okay, maybe Nathalie is in charge next season and he's consulting in the background. Like what that could be the final attack. Like whatever. I'm more concerned with the wish. I'm more concerned with him in relation to Adrien.
Right.
You know, like this is just the mechanics. Like in the past two finales we've had introduced a new mechanic. Season 2 finale introduced Sentimonsters. Season 3 finale, they fixed the Miraculous, and now he's Shadow Moth, right? So we could do something like that. We could evolve the mythology of the villains. Probably we'll do that. Is he in charge? Is someone else in charge? Yeah, the wish, like, is the wish coming into play? Will we have a fake wish here in this finale, and then the real wish is in the season 5 finale?
Well, it's hard. So like we almost had a wish. Like we were literally, the wish was happening, went back in time, fixed it. So, and part of the reason, like, I think the one thing that I'm just not sure about, but again, when we talk about evolving mythology, the way this show, like we were talking about with the Sentimonsters, we keep talking about the wish. Like we went from it's this very vague concept to now a very
we have talked
concept.
about it a lot. Yeah.
And now, like in the past couple episodes, we keep mentioning it, and we have our funny little splash screen.
Yeah.
Of Hawkmoth making his wish, and it's like, is this going to happen? Because again, what April was saying, that's the only way Hawkmoth would stop. That's all he wants. He just wants the wish. He wants his wife back. So, he makes his wish, but then it's like, okay, well, we don't, as far as we know, that's a full universe reset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, presumably it'll fail, but like,
or there's gonna be a new mechanic, which I'm okay with new mechanic. But
I was gonna say a new mechanic is fine, but I feel like I'm gonna use the phrase, it's in poor taste to change your main villain a season before the end of the original story arc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. We'll see. I mean, I think they could do it in ways. If he's involved, like that's why I'm like him consulting. You know, I think he would be involved. Like I think,
or like maybe Adrien's in danger. Or another thing I came up with while we were talking was that if Nathalie, so my joke that Lila assassinates Gabriel. What if Nathalie's it's like Gabriel has put himself in danger in seeking this attack? And Nathalie then steps in to end it, prevent it, or whatever to protect Gabriel.
Nathalie dies.
Something like
right after she recovered.
Right after, or right after she recovered. Or the Peacock Miraculous gets damaged again, and then we take away the Sentimonster element.
I will say, if the Peacock Miraculous gets damaged again, I will be extraordinarily upset.
But
I will say about Nathalie, she has been lurking the whole season. We've consistently shown her in her situation, so we could do something with her for sure.
She's slowly getting better. She's still got that cough. It's okay. We all do.
I do think probably will have Nathalie. Okay, big asterisk to all of these items. I will say, like we mentioned, they make season 4 and 5 together. The season 5 is the big finale. This is kind of more of a mid-season finale, what we're getting here. So
right.
Nothing has to be addressed here because these are kind of the same season. But I would like if they actually wrap up things.
But don't call it a final attack if
yeah, we'll see what that means.
Unless you're literally going to make this his final attack, and then we start season 5, and there's just no villain. You know what I mean?
That'd be interesting, yeah.
Gabriel, legitimately gives up, and he's like, oh man, I literally can't do this anymore. And then,
I would love if we had like a 2-part season 5 premiere but that like didn't have the same structure where like there wasn't a villain. There's no same structure of the show. We break format and then we're like, bam, this is going to be a big season.
Well, like it literally turns into like a lifestyle or what is it? Like a slice of life show. Like
for 3 episodes and then something, you know.
I mean, maybe this is, I mean, even like kind of involving Nathalie, but like, again, the only things that we know would stop Gabriel are Adrien would be in danger and making the wish. And maybe he does almost do something to Adrien and he's like, I have to stop.
Yeah.
And he almost got found out. Like, Felix knows he's Hawkmoth.
That's another good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could stop in some fashion, and it's a good point that the wish is top of mind here. So let's keep that in mind. It would be surprising if the ultimate final wish happened not before the series finale, you know, the season 5 finale, but just because, you know, when you make the wish doesn't mean that it's the end of like there's ways to do it. I agree.
Yeah.
So
also, I do think there's a way to make the wish and the show keeps its current format. Like, like how do we, like, I mean, we don't know, like maybe he makes the wish,
right? So they claims that the wish would completely erase everything we know, but what if it really just changes something? What if it really just brings her back to life,
or it erases everything but it rebuilds it? Like, we could have kind
in
of
the
like
exact same way and they keep their memories out of
or like it's like, you know, a Back to the Future thing, like it's just slightly altered.
Yeah. Okay. It's a good thing to keep in mind. Okay, quickly, the other points. We talked about, will Marinette ask Adrien out? We talked about it. Okay. Romance progression. Subset, Lady Noir. Probably that's not as pressing as Marinette asking Adrien out.
Yeah.
But these are definitely top of mind. Number 3, will we get a Sentimonster reveal? We've talked about this. You know, I'm doubting it more than in the past. I was like, it's definitely happening. I'm starting to doubt it more, but
no, I'm even more sure that he's a Sentimonster.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, no, he's a Sentimonster, but will they tell us this?
Okay, that's fair. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to know.
As there's less and less time left, I'm like, there's less time, you know.
Well, I don't know. Like, and then now you bring in the last attack. I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like,
but we also or I guess maybe like we've pushed it aside in our own thought that this show can change a lot very quickly and do so successful.
That's true.
Yeah. I think so. I think we should still do this for sure. This is number two on my most wanted list. And not in terms of personal wants, in terms of the season, what we've done this season, what needs to happen this season, is like number 1, Marinette asking Adrien out. Number 2, please tell us Adrien's a Sentimonster. Adrien doesn't need to know yet, but we also
like, just incredible. Like, you know, me just thinking at this moment, like, to come from, oh my God, she told Alia she's Ladybug, to here, where we are right now, is
number 4, Alia's role in the show. Yes. So
like, there's so many pieces, and like the fact that we're having this discussion as in like in reality these things could happen.
So Alia's role, we've done big things with Alia. We've done many different things with the concept of her knowing who Marinette is. What will we do in the finale? Almost certainly something involved
or anything. Like, basically what April was saying, like, I don't know at this point what the show's going to do in the finale, because they've completely changed everything in like the last 3 minutes of an episode. So
we could. No, I agree. Alia specifically, I don't need anything specific to happen with Alia, but she needs to be featured considering this is the Alia season.
Yes.
Number 5, how will Marinette's role as the Guardian progress?
Yeah, we're hinting.
Any identity reveals? This is what we talked about earlier.
We keep dropping
knowing more heroes. We're working towards the concept that we saw in the future of Marinette running the hero team. So, I don't think anything needs to happen here, but certainly some identity thing could happen.
I mean, we're pushing it. Like, that's kind of also something that the most recent episode has like put into play. So in addition to, you know, Kat's role, it's also Marinette's the Guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any final comments on that, and turning it into final comments of this podcast as we've gone a long time here, April?
I mean, anything can happen at this point. You know, like Shadow Moth could win the Super Bowl, bring it home for the team. Everyone goes to Disneyland, or we could we could have literally nothing happen. Like, literally nothing could happen in the finale because we've had that happen before too.
Yeah. I mean, we've season 2, 3 finales, very good, big things relative to those seasons happening, but the stuff we're talking about here, we've not gotten that yet. So yeah.
I mean, I think if anything, like, the title is just throwing me off so much.
Same.
But also, I don't.
This is why Dylan did this.
I know, because I also don't want it to, like, I'm like, there's no way that it could really do anything. Because
the title of the season 3 finale was The Battle of the Miraculous.
Right.
Yeah. Does that matter? Did that have any? I mean,
no, not really. So this could really, literally,
it might not matter.
Because how many times have we had like, oh, this is my best effort ever. Rah.
Season 2 finale was Heroes Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we'll see.
It could literally.
The title could
literally
mean anything. Battle of the Miraculous is Marinette being the Guardian.
That's true.
Yeah, so what indirectly is being said by this title that we will understand?
I mean, I do think it implies a new villain or that there isn't a villain.
Season 3 finale, Marinette took over as the Guardian. That was pretty big.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, like, you know, sometimes the finale is like, oh, okay, and then we come into the next season. I mean, we came into season 4 and they're like, and then like Marinette's like, I'm Ladybug, and it's like, oh my god, what?
And we're like, this is like the second episode. What is happening?
Yeah, literally Ermagerd. Like, who, like, I think we could have, like, you know, we can have a less than stellar, quote unquote, like, finale, and then they just, like, hit us with that sledgehammer again on the premiere. But also, I don't know.
Yeah.
Delaney, final thoughts?
I'm excited and terrified for the next 3 episodes.
I'm ready to die with you guys.
Yeah,
we're going into battle.
We are literally going into battle.
This is over.
Done.
It's not even battle. There's an asteroid coming, and we're just watching it.
Is this Don't Look Up?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's a trait.
Adrien equals Centimonster asteroid is hurtling towards us, and all the Phantom is ignoring it. Look up, people! He's a Centimonster.
Look, he's a Centimonster.
We've been telling you all along.
All for years on this podcast.
It just makes me think of what is it? It's South Park. Whenever they talk about Al Gore and Man Bear Pig, and he's like, "I'm super cereal, you guys."
We've been serious this whole time.
I'm super cereal.
Okay, we'll see. Look, if we get the Centimonster revealed, get ready for the Adrien equals Centimonster confirmed party on this podcast.
It's gonna be a parade. There's gonna be like, we're gonna build a float.
Get ready if that happens.
On a world tour.
Yeah, like it's gonna be like
our homes.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, we were right, and we're gonna go to Paris, and we're gonna be like,
what are we gonna do there?
We're literally
go to the top of the Eiffel Tower and shout from the rooftops.
Eiffel Tower, and we're gonna have a banner.
We'll put a banner up, Adrien equals Centimonster, and then before they can take it off, the authorities can take it away.
We said it first.
Yeah, before they
heard it here.
We'll get pictures of the Eiffel Tower sprouting up. Adrien is Centimonster.
Also, we're in full cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and full, Ladybug and Cat cosplay. We're just kidding. This is not a threat to the Eiffel Tower. Please ignore this.
Yeah, we're not threatening
Parisian
anything.
authorities.
We're
joking. This is a joke. Okay.
We're just gonna visit it and bring a banner with us.
Well, we could put the banner like on the ground in front of it. Like,
yeah.
We'll get the satellite picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Get this Google Earth.
We'll get a drone.
Just hold up the banner. Have someone else take the picture of us.
That's why we're bringing Tanya.
Thomas is taking the Thomas.
Thomas is All right, Thomas. Here's the deal. If we're right, you have to take our picture.
That's it. We did it. Tired. How long is this? This is about 2 hours. Like, look, we did it. I'm surprised you made it this far.
Did we?
I'm the one that's ending it. I'm the one, not
You're
Delaney.
The one who's ending it. Also, my favorite is that, what is it? Before you were just like, oh, do we want to do like all of the episodes look together? I was like, no.
No. Oh yeah, you mean the 6-hour podcast that this was going to be?
Yeah, we could have waited a week, but yeah, no, this was
that would have been a mistake.
Okay, we will be back in 3 weeks to talk about the I want the last episode before the finale, and then the 2 finale episodes, and all will be discussed. What will happen?
4-hour
Send a monster
podcast.
Party, Adrinette confirmed party. We'll see. Probably, hopefully, one of them.
We'll properly prepare for all of them.
Gabriel died. Funeral. April was weeping the whole time. We'll see.
Will dress up for that.
Yeah,
Okay, so
April in full.
It's so me and Dylan. We're no longer the DJs in the dead wife garden. It's in the dead Gabriel garden.
Oh my gosh. We don't have time to explore this concept, Delaney. Why are you bringing this up right now? Dead Gabriel garden.
I'm just imagining myself in the
Like
red,
full Victorian morning.
yeah, like full Victorian, like the veil, the black veil, and everything.
We have to do if Gabriel actually dies, which won't happen. But we have to do a video podcast, and you're actually dressed up in full.
And I'm
that'd be so
I'm
good.
gonna cry. I'll just have makeup running down.
You would just be crying the whole podcast,
Yeah.
and we'd be trying to talk over you. That's the.
It's just me looking.
The more
sad
we
in the
talk about,
background.
and we keep bringing up to discuss his death, and then you just more hysterically sob every time we mention it.
Yes.
Like a widow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So many possibilities. We'll see. All dependent on this finale. Let us know all your comments. No spoilers in the comments. Overlyanimated.com. Consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all our current patrons, especially our patrons of the podcast, Phonician. And thanks to our patron executive producers, Steve, Michael, and Phonician. Yep. Next podcast, probably Ladybug, but we'll see. Make sure you subscribe to not miss our big finale discussion. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you then. Bye.
Bye.